everybody, it's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for my 2024 goals video. In today's video, we are going to talk through all of my plans for 2024. This is going to be in no particular order. We're going to talk a little bit about my channel, we're going to talk about my reading goals, we're going to talk a little bit about my life goals in general. I have my journal here that I'll be referring to for some of my goals, which means that you'll get a little tiny sneak peek for my reading journal setup video, which is coming up in a couple of days. So if you'd like to check that out, please consider subscribing. I will be also putting up a video where I talk through how my goals went for 2023. That will be going up sometime in my personal version of Bookmas. Every year I do Bookmas starting on Christmas Day or thereabouts and running for 2 weeks, but I will start with talking about something that is going away for 2024, and that is my Diversify Me game. So this is the game that I've been playing at the end of every single month to check in and make sure that I'm trying to read diversely. The two biggest things that I've been focusing on is reading from BIPOC, so Black, Indigenous, person of colour authors, and also reading books that have LGBTQIA+ rep. This has been a lot of fun and I have enjoyed playing it, but I just think that it's kind of run its course now and I've decided to retire it. But also I feel like this game and my thinking about it and focusing on it has made me more aware and more likely to just kind of naturally pick up books that represent all of these different things and are slightly more diverse. But the other reason why I'm retiring the game is for views, basically. My Diversify Me games just weren't getting the views. I really enjoyed the game, and I know some of you really enjoyed the game, but it just wasn't something that lots of people were really enjoying, so I've decided to retire it. I'm still going to focus on those things when I think about my reading every single month. So in order to do that, I do have a couple of pages that look like this in my journal. My yearly stats pages, as well as recording things like books read and how many books did I reread and what amount were physical books, audiobooks, etc. I do also have sections for LGBTQIA+ rep, BIPOC, Australian Indigenous authors, translated, non-European inspired. So I'm bringing a lot of what I had on the board for 2023 into my yearly stat, which means that I am going to be paying attention to those things. I won't necessarily be punished for not reading books that match any of these, but it definitely means I'm thinking about it more and I'm keeping aware of it, which I think will definitely help things as well. That brings me to something that I am bringing back in 2024, and that is my TBR games. I am bringing back both my TBR games, Roll of Reads and TBR Campaign. I did also put a poll up a while ago asking if people wanted me to bring back my TBR games, if so, which one, or did they want me to alternate? And that one. So we'll be alternating between Roll of Reads and TBR Campaign, starting out with Roll of Reads in January and then alternating every single month. I'll see how that goes, whether it works, whether people are enjoying it, whether I'm enjoying it, but for at least the first 6 months of the year, I'll be doing that and then we'll see how we're going from there. Which brings me to my next goal, and this is definitely happening as well because I've already put things in motion to start planning for this and get this up and running. But in March, I will be running my Roll of Reads readathon. So this is a readathon that is based around my Roll of Reads TBR game. Basically, the idea is that people who want to join me in playing the game. This year, I'm going to be having co-hosts, which I'm really, really excited about. And again, thank you to all you amazing people, you know who you are, who have said yes. And we are in the middle of planning for that. So it's definitely coming up in March. It happens every March because that's my birthday month, and I thought what better way to celebrate my birthday than to celebrate my TBR game and to play it with me. So that is definitely coming back. I'm also going to be bringing back with Steph from Novelty Corner, Ren from the Reading Ren, and Meredith from Reading with Merb, the Australian Readathon. It probably isn't going to be happening again in November this year. We are looking at potentially changing when it happens. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe to my channel if you want to find out more. Subscribe to the other channels and keep an eye on our announcements to find out when it's coming back. But it's definitely coming back. So those are readathons and TBR games. And that is what's happening with Diversify Me. So for kind of reading / channel content. I am going to be doing themed reading vlogs. I'm going to continue doing that. I have done a few in the past. I've got one coming up in January, which has been going on throughout this year. I did my romance reading vlog and I did my Alice Oseman reading vlog. I had a lot of fun doing those. I've got some ideas of things I'd like to do this year in 2024, so they will definitely be coming back. To continue with my reading goals, I do have a Goodreads goal, and it is the same as it was in 2023, and that will be 80 books. 80 books is doable for me. I don't want to have a goal that is out of my reach. I have 107 books on my bookshelfie, so I have more than the 80 there because I've hit, I think I'm at 92 or something like that at the moment. So I've definitely reached my goal and a little bit more. I'd really like to actually read 100 books in 2024. I think that would be really awesome, but I'm not going to set that as my Goodreads goal. I'm not going to focus on it, but it's kind of a extra special goal, if that makes sense. I also have a series goal. I have selected a few different series that I would really like to try and finish or at least catch up on in 2024, and they will be my priority. I will be making a series video again this year as well, but I do have a few series that I'm particularly wanting to focus on finishing for 2024. And then I also have the focus of wanting to read my physical TBR. I don't actually know how many books I have in my physical TBR. The last time I counted, I had 100. I have since bought some books, but then I've also read some books. So I'm not sure where it sits at the moment, but it's around 100 and some change. I would really love to get that down a little bit. I'd really love to be reading the books that I'm buying. To that end, I am currently on a book buying plan, and that's going to continue into 2024. What my partner and I came up with to help me to exercise and to try to get fit and to focus on my movement this year was that in order to be able to buy books, I have to reach those goals. So I do have my watch, which has the Fitbit and has goals that you can set for movement, standing, and exercise every day. And the book haul part of that is that within a 7-day period, so it doesn't have to be Monday through Sunday, it will restart whenever it needs to restart, but as long as for 7 days consecutively, I meet all 3 of those goals every day, then I get a credit towards buying a book. But I also have to keep reading my TBR. So I have to read my TBR. I have to read one book. I'll show you in the journal. That will be easier. Again, sneak peek. So I have put out these little book stamps along the spine for the 7 days in a row of meeting my movement goals. I get to colour that in once I've hit 7. And then once I've finished a book on my physical TBR, I get to colour the top in there. Once both are coloured in, then I can buy a book. So that is my book buying plan. And the reason why we came up with that and why we're tying them to movement is that getting to buy books is just a good incentive for me to want to try and do that. I am quite a sedentary person. I don't necessarily focus on exercise, and so in order to get me to move and focus a bit more on exercise, it's now tied in with my book buying. It seems to be working really, really well. It obviously just makes sense to have read a book, get a book kind of deal worked in as well. So I have made the goal that I would like to try and hit those 7 days in a row 3 times a month. Because I know that there are going to be times I'm not going to do that, but my goal is 3 times a month I get 7 in a row. So that's that goal. Another reading goal that I have for 2024 is a rereading goal. I feel like there are a few books over the last few years that I have said were favourites, but haven't gone back and reread them, and usually I'm a rereader. Prior to BookTube, you can tell my favourites from how often I reread them. And there are some that I have really not reread, and I would like to see whether or not I still love them, to see whether or not I still consider them favourites. I think that would be a fun thing to do in 2024. I have 12 on this list. Every single month I will do a spinner wheel that has all 12 on there, and that will pick what book I will need to read that month. That will be part of my TBR game, or it will come up first. The books are Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, Babel by R.F. Kuang, The Killing Code by Ellie Marnie, Circe by Madeline Miller, The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams, Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams, Kindred by Octavia E. Butler, The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. E. Schwab, After Story by Larissa Brent, and The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I also am running a read-along of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I'll be reading all 5, possibly 6 of the books in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy trilogy. If you understand how that works, then you understand, and if you don't, and you'd like to, maybe consider joining us. We'll be starting in January. I am doing that read-along with Ashley from Ashley's Media Addiction, Ren from The Reading Ren, Ash from Ash's Adventures in Books, and Chelsea from Chelsea Zhao. For all the information, I will link the announcement video in the description below, so you can go and check all that out. But that is a reading goal for 2024 as well. I'm also intending on taking part in a couple of year-long challenges. So one of those is Buzzword, which is created by Books and Lala. I will link her channel down below. Then there's also Aurelium. So Aurelium is part of the Magical Reads readathon that G hosts from Book Roast. It's just an amazing readathon. It is kind of like playing D&D, but via a readathon. And last year, well, this year in 2023, she had a year-long readathon as part of the whole overarching readathon. I took part in it for the first half and just kind of dropped off, but I'd really like to do it again in 2024 if it happens, so that is a goal as well. And then my other challenge type goal is to take part in Bookimon. So Bookimon is a year-long challenge that has been created by Meredith from Reading with Merb. It is an absolutely amazing challenge that she's created, and I'm so impressed with how much work she's put into it. It is definitely inspired by Pokemon, except instead of catching Pokemon, you're catching Bookimon. So Bookimon are creatures, and you read books in order to gain items, and the items will lure out the Pokemon, and then you capture the Pokemon. There are going to be mythical Pokemon, there are going to be monthly Pokemon, there are going to be seasonal Pokemon, there are regular Pokemon, there are so many different things, so many different people involved, and it just sounds like it's going to be so much fun. At the moment in December, she's running the mini round to help you get started for next year, and it's so much fun at the moment. There's a Discord, we're having great chats, and yeah, it's really, really fun, and I'm really excited for that for next year as well. My final reading specific goal is a Round the World challenge. I got this from Elizabeth from Plant Based Bride. It's basically where you aim to read a book from every country in the world. I don't think that's something I can do this year, but it's something that I can work towards and think about, and it's another way of helping me to diversify my reading. I'm really excited to do this. I'm not putting pressure on myself, but I think it'll be really fun to think about where my books are set, who's writing my books, etc. So that is a reading goal as well. In terms of my channel, I am not going to make a subscriber count or watch hour or view count. I had one in 2023 which I did not meet at all, but I haven't really been focusing on it very much in the last year, really. There was a period in the middle of the year where I didn't grow at all, and I started to get a bit upset and a bit worried, but that's picked up again and I've started to grow. I've had a really slow growth year in terms of subscribers, but I haven't felt bothered about it. I feel like I hit the 1,000 and I just was like, oh, cool. I mean, I obviously do think about it and focus on it, but not to the point where it was bad for my mental health, which it was getting. So I'm just not going to set goals for those things next year. I just find that if I focus on making a channel that my subscribers like, making videos that people like to watch, and that I'm happy with, and that I'm enjoying myself, and that I'm having fun, then that's more important to me than subscriptions and views and all those things. Not that I don't want to get those things, of course I do, and I want to grow and I want to get more subscribers, but I'm just not going to make a goal because then I won't torture myself by worrying about it, basically. It's not good for my mental health. It's not worth it. It's a hobby. It's fun. It's not worth being that stressed about. So I'm not going to do that at all. But I'm going to aim to continue doing my 2 long form videos a week, so Wednesday and Saturday. I'm going to try to do shorts next year. I've done shorts sporadically throughout this year, but I really want to try and do it more regularly. I'm going to include it in my plans for each month for the video scheduling, and I want to try and do 2 shorts a week. I'm thinking Tuesday morning and Friday morning to offset Wednesday evening and Saturday evening, Australian Eastern Time. So I would like to do shorts. Let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like to see from me for shorts. I am currently thinking that I'm going to change the vlog, and I'm not going to do my long form reading and life vlogs every month. I might do them sporadically, but I won't do them every single month. I'm thinking instead though of doing a short weekly vlog. So I still won't be doing a weekly long form vlog like Amazing Chloe from Chloe Reads, who does that every week, and I don't know how, but I'm thinking about doing that as a short because I feel like that would work better for me and it potentially could be fun. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. I'm excited to give it a try and see how it goes, but yeah, let me know what you think. A final channel goal is that I would like to try and bring out some merch this year in 2024. Let me know what you think. I'm excited to think about that. I have someone who is an amazing graphic artist that I'm going to talk to soon, a good friend of mine, and see whether we can come up with some fun designs. And yeah, that's something I'd like to do. But let me know what you think. If you are interested, would you potentially want to buy? What would you be interested in? Would you like t-shirts, mugs, bookmarks? Let me know all that in the comments below. While we're on the subject of supporting me financially, I do have a Ko-Fi. It's just a general chuck me a little bit of money for a coffee whenever you have spare change if you want to. But since we're talking about merch and money and stuff, I thought I'd mention it. It's always listed in the description. No pressure whatsoever. There's no memberships or anything, but just, you know, if you like me and you want to throw me a little bit of money, then that would be amazing. So those are all of the reading and channel goals. I'm going to quickly, because my battery is flashing, I'm going to quickly talk about a couple of life goals and then we'll be done. So one of our life goals, both myself and Rowan, is we'd like to travel a little bit. We're not 100% sure where exactly. We are tossing up between traveling interstate in Australia or traveling abroad to the UK. Those are 2 places we're thinking of at the moment, but definitely would like to do some travel. So stay tuned to find out about that. I personally have the goal of I'd like to make a little bit more effort to catch up with friends. I feel like because of all the IVF journey and all of those things, there are some videos about that. I'll link the playlist below if you want to find out more, but because of everything that's been going on, I haven't been as good about catching up with friends and I haven't been as good about keeping up with friends. So I'd really like to make more of an effort. I'd like to make more of an effort to have regular phone dates, regular Zoom calls with some friends who live interstate and or internationally. But I also would like to make a bit more of an effort to catch up with some friends. I do have quite a few friends that live in Tassie that because of COVID and everything we've had going on, like I said, IVF and everything, it's just been a little bit hard to reach out. And we kind of all got a bit insular. I'd like to make a bit more of an effort to catch up with some people and see each other more frequently, and also my family as well. I do see them still fairly frequently, but just a little bit more of an effort I would like to make. That is something I'm putting out into the ether, putting on the internet. I feel like goals I put on the internet, I'm more likely to follow through. So that's something I really want to focus on in 2024 as well. In terms of teaching, I was doing relief in 2023. I'm still open to doing relief in 2024. But what I prefer is to pick up maybe 1 or 2 days a week, potentially on class, to share a class with someone, or potentially doing art or drama or something like that as a specialist subject. So that's something that I need to actually do something about in the next couple of weeks because school's coming to an end for the year and I need to put the feelers out there. So that's something I need to do actually today or tomorrow. But anyway, for the purpose of a goals video, that is something that is on my mind that I need to think about, that I'd like to try and do next year. Also in terms of teaching, I'd like to actually read up more. I'd like to read more and learn more about various things to do with teaching. I'd like to make myself more aware of current research, of current theories. I'd like to learn more about trauma-based practice. These are all things you can do as part of professional development. They have different workshops and things that you can go to when you're an employed teacher by the state, but I'm not at the moment. Potentially, if I pick up 1 or 2 days a week, I could do that, but I just think it would be good for my professional development and my feeling about my teaching if I do that myself. So I'd like to do some reading towards teaching as well. And I have set that in my yearly stats. There is a section for teaching. It doesn't have to be a set amount, but I think it would be really good to try and focus on that a little bit this year as well. And then finally, writing goals. I set some writing goals for 2023. I did okay. I don't know what it is. I feel like I have a little bit of talent in writing, but for some reason I just don't have the discipline. I find it difficult. Once I sit down and do it, I often enjoy it, but I find it difficult to get the motivation. It's something you need inherent motivation for. Similar to BookTube, but somehow I find BookTube easier. But I do really want to try and be a writer. I want to try and see how I go with getting things published and things like that. So I have 2 writing goals. One is about actually writing, and that is about amount of time I spend every week writing. So I have the goal to try and write for 10 hours a week, but I have a smaller goal of 5 hours a week. So once I've set it all up again in my journal, but once I hit 5 hours in a week, I will get a small reward, like maybe an ice cream or a chocolate or an extra coffee or something like that. Once I hit 10, then I get a slightly bigger reward. So it might be Rowan and I go out for a fancy dinner or something like that. I decided to break it down into the 5 plus 10 because I feel like 5 is very achievable, 10 is slightly less so. But if I have a goal that I feel like I can meet, then once I meet it, I'll get that reward, that serotonin, I'll feel happy with myself. I'll feel like I'll potentially want to keep going for 10. But if I don't make to 10, at least I hit 5 and I can feel happy with myself. Whereas if I just go straight for 10, I feel like I just wouldn't make it and then I would burn out and it wouldn't work. As a goal, it wouldn't work. As incentive, I just wouldn't do it. So that is the writing amount of time. I've got a few ideas of things I'd like to write. A few story ideas I potentially want to try, so we'll see where we go there, but that's how I'm going to approach the actual act of writing. But then my other goal for writing is about my current WIP. So I have a work in progress that I've been working on for the last probably 5 years, and I'm now at the point where I think it's ready to query. So I need to get agents, I need to get an idea of who I'm going to send the query to. I need to get a list of agents and, all the information about how to query them. And then I need to get the query letter and the synopsis written. So those are other goals for 2024. And I believe that is my goals, plans, ideas for 2024. Sorry, no it's not, because this year I said that I was going to do quarterly goal check-ins, which I didn't do. I definitely would like to do that this year in 2024 because I feel like it will make me a little bit more accountable. Some of these goals, life goals in particular, are a little bit more about my mental health and about my life and not that YouTube and reading aren't part of life, but you know what I mean. So I need to be a lot more focused on those, and so I think that it is important that I check in. I think I said before, I feel like when I check in, put it on the internet, put it out there for people to see, it makes me more accountable, it makes me more likely to follow through and do those things. So quarterly goal check-in is something I am hoping, planning, intending to do. That's it from me today. That's all of my goals for 2024, all of my intentions for 2024. Let me know what you think of them. Comment below a particular type of video or a particular video you'd like me to make in 2024, or a book that you really think I need to read in 2024. I would love to get all that feedback. If you would like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me some kind of calendar emoji, because we're talking about 2024 and planning for 2024. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.